Have you ever felt just completely stuck? Stuck in a job, in a relationship, or maybe just stuck in life itself? It's a horrible, paralyzing feeling, right? But what if I told you that breaking free really comes down to mastering just one single skill? Well, today, we're diving into an incredibly powerful framework from Tony Robbins for making decisions that can literally change your entire life.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to really dig into that stuck feeling. Then we'll unpack a simple 3-step framework to get you moving again. After that, we'll get super practical with a method for those really big, hairy decisions. We'll talk about the real goal behind all of this, and then, we're going to turn it all back over to you. All right, let's dive right in. Section 1 is all about the problem, that feeling of being stuck, and what's really going on underneath the surface.
Yeah, this phrase right here, it is so common. It's the sense that you're trapped by things outside of your control. But the very first step to getting unstuck is figuring out where the real power actually lies.
And this is a huge idea from Robbins. He argues that it's not our conditions, our job, our bank account, our background, that determine our lives. No, it's our decisions. The quality of your life is a direct result of the choices you make, not the circumstances you just happen to be in.
So, if our decisions are so powerful, what's stopping us from making them? Well, it pretty much boils down to one word: fear. It's that fear of messing up, fear of the consequences, fear of not making the perfect choice. And that fear, it keeps us waiting around for some kind of certainty that, let's be honest, never really comes, leaving us totally and completely paralyzed. So how do we break through that wall of fear? Let's get to the solution. Robbins has this simple but honestly incredibly powerful 3-part framework to do exactly that. You see, a real decision isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's a whole process. First, you actually decide. Then, you commit to that path. And finally, you resolve to see it through, no matter what happens. Now, this is really cool. The word decide actually comes from Latin, and it literally means to cut off. Think about that. When you truly make a decision, you are cutting off every other option. You're burning the boats. There's no plan B. You've chosen your path, and that's it. But you know how it is, right? A decision you make in a moment of inspiration can easily fade away. That's where commitment comes in. It's the bridge. It's about creating such powerful, compelling reasons to follow through that you stay on track, even when your motivation is gone or things get tough. And this just brilliantly nails the final step. Robbins tells the story about asking a group for the definition of resolve, and the best answer came from a 9-year-old girl. She said, "It's promising yourself you will never give up." Wow, that's when the decision stops being a choice and it just becomes who you are. You'll find a way or you'll make one. And this brings us to a really hard truth. While we're all so terrified of making the wrong decision, the absolute worst decision you can make is to not decide at all. Staying stuck on the fence just guarantees you're going nowhere. There's this great story about General Schwarzkopf, who had to make a massive military decision with incomplete intel. His logic was genius. He said, just pick a path. If I'm wrong, we'll find out quicker. You see, it's better to move and be wrong and then correct your course than to lose all that precious time just sitting around waiting and wondering. Okay, so that just decide philosophy is great, but I know what you're thinking. What about those huge, complicated, life-altering choices that feel totally overwhelming? Well, for those, Robbins gives us a system, a tool to cut right through the confusion. It's called the OCEMR method. Looks complicated, but it's not. First, you get laser-focused on your outcomes. What do you really want? Then you brainstorm your options, and you have to come up with at least 3. For each of those, you list out the consequences, the good and the bad. Next, you evaluate what's the real probability of those things happening. Then you mitigate. You figure out how you can reduce the downsides. And finally, you resolve. You make the final call and you go for it. It's a way to take a big emotional mess and turn it into a clear, logical process. So what's the whole point of all this? I mean, why get so intense about making decisions? Well, it's because being a master decision maker is the key to unlocking the 2 skills you need for a truly extraordinary life. Think of it like this. The first skill is the science of achievement. This is the how-to, the strategies to get results with your money, your career, your body. But the second, and honestly the more important one, is the art of fulfillment. This is that personal journey of finding real joy and meaning and purpose. Because as Robbins always says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
And that deep, lasting fulfillment, it doesn't just come from getting everything you want. It really comes from two core things: constantly growing as a person, and then using that growth to give back, to contribute to something bigger than yourself.
And here's the bottom line. The secret emotional reward in all of this, it's not actually reaching the goal that makes us happy. It's the feeling of making progress along the way. Progress equals happiness. It's that simple. Okay, we have talked about the problem, the framework, the method, and the ultimate goal. Now, this is where it gets real. It's your turn. It's time to go from just learning this stuff to actually doing it. So think about it right now. What is one small, tiny thing you know you should do? Maybe it's a little inconvenient, something you've been putting off. Just make that decision. Making these small choices is how you build your decision-making muscle. And now, the big one. What is that one bold, scary, tough decision that you know deep in your gut you need to make about your career, about your health, about a relationship? This is it. This is how you stop just managing your life and you start creating it. Because in the end, it really is that simple. You have the power to choose. And now, you've got the tools to choose wisely. The next step? Well, that's always yours to take.